Buck Visits the Big City is the 14th episode of the third season of the Doris Day Show, and there will be some spoilers as I discuss things that happen in the episode. I don't actually have too many specific thoughts, because really not that much happens in the episode, but I'm okay with that, because it's all about Buck. I feel like we haven't had a Buck episode in so long. Ever since Doris moved to the city, I kind of knew that we wouldn't get a lot of Buck, but honestly, we've had significantly less Buck than I'd anticipated. Now, on the plus side, Denver Pyle has actually directed a lot of these episodes. He doesn't direct this one, but having him in this is just wonderful. And he goes to visit Doris and the boys, and we don't get as much Toby and Billy in this as I would have liked either, but we do get a little bit of them. And while Doris is at work, Buck is kind of left to his own devices, and he ends up picking weeds out of a flower bed that had a sign saying "Don't touch the flowers." And I had to laugh because he had a very good point. He wasn't touching the flowers. The sign said "Don't touch the flowers," so he just removed the weeds. He was doing a good thing for the flowers. But the police officer, being a city boy, didn't really get this, and Buck nearly got into quite a bit of trouble. He was doing other things, and it kind of made me laugh as well, because as somebody who has lived in cities outside of London and then living in London, it's a kind of similar dynamic where you have different ways of acting in the city and then in the country, and it's basically the same concept of if you're in London, or in this case in San Francisco, you don't really talk to people. So if Buck's trying to talk to somebody like he did the woman on the park bench, the woman is baffled why this man would be talking to her, whereas if you're in the country, and from my perspective anywhere outside of London, it's natural to have that social interaction with strangers. And I think that there's definitely something that people can relate to if you are somebody who has lived both in a big city and outside of it, because people's opinions in the big cities are definitely very different if they've never been outside of it. It's almost like a different way of living. And this is what we get here, and it does kind of poke fun at big city life here, but it's also kind of sad as well, because Buck's very much out of his depth, out of his comfort zone, and Doris tries to find him some companionship, not romantic companionship, just a friend. So she decides to throw a party the following evening, and we have quite a lot of people in the one small apartment. They definitely make good use of the space, though. And things don't exactly go according to plan, but I like the direction it took. I also like the fact that it showed that Buck wasn't about to change his ways, and he didn't need to either for things to go well, and I rather enjoyed it. As I said, the actual episode itself isn't too busy. Not that much happens, but because we have so much of Buck in this, I'm okay with that. I still really thoroughly enjoyed it, and it has to be one of my favourite episodes from season 3. It's a really fun episode, very sweet. Buck is brilliant. Buck Visits the Big City is definitely one that I enjoyed.